podcast, Down the Blocks, Chris Young, CY, Tom Crawford here in Crawford Podcasting Network. We're here on a rare Friday afternoon. Typically we're morning people over at the Grand Traverse Pie Company, corner of Hagedorn and Grand River, stone's throw away from Michigan State University, who has a big game tonight in Madison, Wisconsin, taking on Bucky the Badger. What do you got in that game, CY?
See, the smart money would be, okay, Wisconsin at home, they're going to win. You know,
and
Michigan
Whiskey
State
beat them at Breslin.
Yeah, Michigan State's, you know, they're not a great team. They're not a good three-point shooting team.
But they're a good team.
But they figure out, it's always figured out a way to go and win games like that. It's like
on the road.
There's no way they got any business winning that game, and all of a sudden you'll look at it the next day and it's like they beat them by 10 or whatever. So I have to say I think Michigan State's going to beat them. I think they're going to pull the upset on the road.
I think so too, because you know, if Wisconsin had lost, you know, and it was a payback for the Badgers, I think they would. Yeah. That's tonight, 8 o'clock, FS1 for you college basketball. I still can't get college basketball on Friday night.
Yeah.
This is all screwed up. High schools are playing on Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Like East Lansing and Okemos last night.
Yep.
And then it's all over there.
Well, yeah, and then even college basketball last night, there was no good games on last night. It's like normally like big Thursdays, like isn't that supposed to be a thing? And it's like there was no top 25 games. Yeah. There was nothing worth watching last night.
Yeah.
So I
remember Tuesdays.
Big Tuesdays. Big Tuesdays used to be a thing.
Big Monday.
Like everything was big this and big that.
Teaching Tuesday with Coach Feet, Jimmy Valvano. We're going to have Teaching Tuesday. Okay? It's all different right now. And then I still am adjusting to college basketball on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a school. I mean, that's like 60 minutes. You know, it's not about college basketball.
See, that's where you're dating yourself, Tom. Because
Ed Sullivan Show is not college basketball.
That's where you're really dating yourself.
Okay, I don't know where we start on this thing. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock, FS1, the Michigan Wolverines, former Wolverine here, CY, played in the pivot. On Tuesday night, Michigan suffered its worst loss since this guy was on the floor.
Since I was there. That's exactly. He's not lying. He's not lying.
You remember that Purdue game when you got drilled by 36?
Yeah, I have vague recollections of that. I have vague recollections of being beat by Duke by 40. I remember losing to Michigan State by 30.
No.
35 or
Michigan
40.
State was 51.
No, it wasn't that much.
I hate to say it.
Was it? I thought it was 40
I think it was
something.
120 to 61.
No, I thought it was like 106 to 60 something.
Oh, you're dreaming.
Yeah.
You're dreaming if you held them to 106 then. And, you know, I see that highlight.
Yeah, they keep showing the highlight at the Breslin.
You guys were really good at inbounding the made basket by Michigan.
I was really good at it. If this was the basket, I would catch it right out of the net, and I'd go out of bounds.
It was like muscle memory.
Yep. Well, and the thing is, the team that we had, I would do that. I would inbound it. I wouldn't even get to half court, and they'd already get a shot up, and I was running back on defense. So it was just that kind of thing. So sitting there watching that game.
Worst loss ever in Michigan basketball history that I've ever witnessed since the Cassie Russell days. He was on the court.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was your sophomore year. 2000.
Yeah, 2000 was my sophomore
year.
The
year
Michigan State
won the national championship. And
but I was also on the court for our game.
When you have Steve Cherry throwing in a 3 in the corner.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, but I was also on the court for the Michigan Duke game at Duke, where I went up and won the opening tip. Went down, got a dunk in Cameron Indoor. I was like, okay, cool. I remember running down the court, looking up at the scoreboard, like, hell yeah, let's go.
That's when you take a picture.
Hey, I did.
I still Tom take a picture of the scoreboard. 2-0.
I still have a mental picture. Yep, I'm beating Duke. I'm up 2-0. I look again about 9 minutes later, and it's 32-2. And there we are. So I can definitely sympathize with what the guys were going through on Tuesday night.
So,
but
let's go to 2001, your junior year.
Yep.
Okay. Why do I do this? But I mean,
it is what it is, man. It is,
I mean, it was you were ahead like 9-5, and then Michigan State went on a
25-0 run or something like that.
They went on a 30-0 run.
Yeah,
it was 35-9.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it was. It is what it is.
Was Steve Cherry getting any burn that day?
Steve Cherry from the corner.
Yep.
Jeremy, out in our audience, our plethora of audience there, we probably have 400 or 500 people out here watching here. Come on out and join that crowd of 400 or 500 people here. Standing room only.
Yep.
Steve Cherry, my old teammate.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We went to Australia together.
Nice.
Yes. Yes.
Hit that corner jumper.
Yeah.
Okay.
That boy Steve.
How do we get on Michigan State basketball? Let's digress or regress. Let's go to Michigan basketball. Back to that Purdue game. Nick Stauskas on Instagram goes out and rips on his old team because they stand around. Richard Ralph on the podcast yesterday, finding it disgusting. There's a lack of effort.
Yeah.
And Rich is Mr. Positive.
See, and I have a very unique perspective on this because, like you said, I mean, I was on those teams that got absolutely trucked the way the guys got beat.
You've been on those teams. This team is being compared to those teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's tough for me. On one side, what Stauskas said is 100% correct, but on the other side, it's not. It's not like the five guys that are on the floor. Like, they're not running hard, they're not playing hard, they're not, doing everything that they feel that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
They just, for one, they're not as talented as some of these other teams, and two, they're not being coached up in a way where they can be competitive against a team like a Purdue.
Yeah.
Their defensive rotations were god-awful. Their shot selection was terrible. But even so, Purdue would go on these little, 10-0 runs or something like that, and Michigan would miss 4 shots in that sequence. And a couple of them would be layups. So there was always a chance to keep it relatively close. Okay, down the stretch with 10 minutes left to go, it was a 25-point game. Then the game's clearly over. But especially in the first half, they always had a chance to keep it close.
They got it down to 24 at halftime.
Yeah,
that was all right.
I mean, they just never could.
Let me tell you
couldn't make a bucket.
But believe it or not, I've taped this freaking game. I don't know why, because I wanted to because I knew what was going to happen. So I broke it down a little bit. Broke down the tape. Okay, there was 4 straight possessions. No box out, and literally no defense.
Yeah. Well,
consecutive.
And you could see going into the game what the game plan was. We have to stop Zach Eaton. He's gotten 30 the last 3 times out. We have to stop him.
He did all right.
He's a killer.
Yeah.
Well, the first half especially, everybody did great on him.
Yeah.
Okay, he picked up a bunch of fouls on guys and stuff like that, but that's what you're going to do playing against him. But they didn't worry about anybody else. They didn't even think about, let's stop Lawyer, let's stop Smith, let's stop any of these guys.
I know. It was bad.
It was bad. It was really bad, and there was no pushback from the coaching staff. They tried a couple different lineups at a couple different points that had a little bit of success. Looked like they had a little bit of fire and intensity. And okay, let's pull you guys out. Let's put the guys in that are supposed to play. And they weren't getting anything.
Michigan's won 4 games in the last 16. That means 4-12. And when I look at the schedule, you have to embrace opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity comes tomorrow at 5 o'clock at Chrysler Arena. Mm-hmm. They got Iowa coming, a team they beat.
Yeah.
When I look at that schedule, that pretty much is the only game I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
I had them winning 5 games about 2 weeks ago. I said 5-15 overall, 9 and
yeah, we sat here
23 or whatever.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and that's what you had said. You said they're going to win 4 or 5 games in the Big Ten. I was like, they're going to get it together.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
I don't see the player development. And then with the whole Doug McDaniel fiasco, where he's part of the team, he's not part of the team.
You're either suspended or you're not.
Yeah, it doesn't like how to as a member of a team, how do I prep 1 week with this guy and the next week without this guy, and then the next week that's one thing if he's injured and all that, but he comes in at full strength and he's got to monopolize the ball. Then the following day, he's not even in practice, or he's playing with the scout team or whatever, and you got to work with these guys that And all due respect, I love the hard work and the effort that Jalen Wellen put in to come back from base. He
had a few.
He busted his hump. He had some few moments, but I mean, there was 2 times where he's just dribbling the ball up the court, and the guy came up and took it from him.
There's sometimes he cannot defend.
Yeah.
There's just so many glaring things. George Washington, the 3rd father of our country, got in the game.
He got in there, and
he finally hit one.
And all he did is shoot every time he got in there. He's like, "Well, I'm in. I'm going to get mine."
Yeah,
he didn't look to pass. He didn't look to do anything. I'm just going to get some FGAs.
Yeah, I call it Hoover Street IM building, man, or CCRB.
It was.
This could be made very easy for Ward Manuel. If Juwan doesn't win another game, what are you going to do?
I mean, if he doesn't win another game, obviously he can't be the head coach of the basketball team.
You
can't do that. But then okay, let's say they go on let's say they rattle off 5 in a row.
That ain't happening.
But hypothetically, does that give them a pass the next season, or does that
see how they finish?
Something culturally has to change with the way that the
no
team was put together.
Accountability, lack a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that. That's going to be okay. Switching over, we'll stick Michigan. Then I want to touch on Lions too. Jim Harbaugh leaving this week. You happy? See, I said I was thrilled when he was hired. I was thrilled when he was coaching, especially the last 3 years, and I was thrilled when he was leaving. So I'm completely happy. How about you?
I'm happy in that he finally got the program to where we all thought it should be.
Hell of a job.
I mean, all these guys drafted in the NFL, back-to-back Big Ten championships, back-to-back beating Ohio State. 2 out of the last 3 years beating the heck out of Sparty, going to the college football playoff, winning a national championship, like everything that all of us Michigan fans thought that Michigan should be. He did all that. And now we don't have to deal with all the other nonsense that's going to be coming up with whatever NCAA stuff is going to happen. Because, that's not just going away because Harbaugh's gone, but it's not going to be anywhere near what it would have been had he stuck around. Right. And then this time next year, we don't have to sit here and talk about, oh shit, is Harbaugh going to the NFL and what's going on? And all the same nonsense that we've had to deal with.
The tangle. And
every single year.
Okay, and you look, national champions in the past 5-6 years, they typically have top 3 recruiting classes. Michigan national champion has a top 19 recruiting class. Last year was in the mid-teens, the year prior was in the mid-teens.
Yep.
Because of the fact you have ambiguity around your program. You don't know who's going to be the head coach. Yeah. And if the head coach leaves, you got 30 kids who can run out of the portal in a second. They got 30 days. To run it. And graduate transfers can do that anytime they want. But that's just, it's a mess.
Yeah,
and that's over with. Sharon Moore's going to be the head football coach, and there's continuity and there's culture.
Yep.
Players love him. He's a hell of a recruiter.
Yes. The problem's going to be is, when Michigan takes the field, end of August, beginning of September, are Michigan fans going to even recognize the names on the field? Who's going to still be putting on that jersey?
Well, that whole defense is coming back.
They were all coming back before Harbaugh left.
Oh, I still think they're coming back.
I still think a majority of them will, but I guarantee you there's going to be guys that shock you that hit the portal. And I don't know if Donovan Edwards is going to hit the portal or who's going to hit the portal, but there's going to be some names in there that's like, well, shit, I was here because of Harbaugh, and I got an opportunity to go here because, X, Y, and Z.
I heard players all season long in the post-game media day, situations raving about their position coach, whether it be Coach Hart,
of course.
Moore,
well, but
Klink,
that was the whole bet thing where it's Michigan against everybody, and let's really get in this submarine and let's take care of us. Well, now they did that. They won a national championship. All their truly standout players are graduating and going to the NFL.
Yeah. There's going to be at least 15, I think.
There's going to be at least 15.
I don't think they're going to have any first-round draft picks, which tells you how good that team was. You go 15-0 without a first-round draft pick. In contrast, their basketball team last year did not make the NCAA tournament with 2 top 15 picks in the NBA. There's your red flag. Not to get back to Michigan basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. Culture, Michigan football, supreme, playing for each other. Yet another great example of that, the Deee-troit Lions. Think about that.
Unbelievable.
I was 1 year old the last time they won the 1957. They won the NFL championship. They beat the Cleveland Browns 59-14. So you were sub, 22 years of being even in the thought process.
Yep.
Or no, longer than 22
years. Yep.
Okay.
And then
he
even
was born the year I graduated from college.
And then even in '91, I was a kid. I was 12 years old, something like that. When they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
When
This
they
been
were
30 years. The last time the Lions were, when they got the NFL or NFC championship, gas was $1.19.
Yep.
Yeah. That's amazing. And, but I think I want your thoughts on this, CY. I think the Lions I'd be more surprised if they lose than if they win. I think they're going to win. 27-21. I just got this gut feeling.
Yep, I totally agree. I think that this is just
destiny.
It's an inspired team.
And they play well on the road.
Yep. I think that there's no reason why they can't go out to San Francisco and win this game and go to the Super Bowl, and then it really doesn't matter what happens on the other side. Yeah. Whether it's the Chiefs or the Ravens, whatever. You made it to the freaking Super Bowl after not doing anything for 30 plus years.
Okay, can you imagine what the 2 weeks are going to be like in this state?
Oh my God, it's going to be like the build up going to the playoff in Ann Arbor. Just that nervous energy that we all had from the Big Ten championship game to playing in the Rose Bowl. It was just that God, we got to go, we got to play, we got to just so much energy and excitement. So.
It's good, and by not to get ahead of ourselves, they win the Super Bowl. That'll be like VJ Day, when World War II ended.
ticker tape parade and everything.
There's going to be a parade from Woodward Avenue, It's going to go, it's going to end up going 96, 120. It's going to go all the way to the Mackinac Bridge. People be lined up all along the way.
Yeah.
There would be so many people in the
it's bananas. It's bananas. Well, and then you see on social media everyone getting Lions tattoos and doing all this stuff. And
here's the thing. Okay, you know how Pat, you and I are both in the same category. I mean, my passion for the University of Michigan, the school I went to, is off. It's. I'm not saying it's an insane level, but it's pretty close.
It's pretty close to being insane.
But I'm telling you what, I'm seeing the emotion of these Lions fans. It's blowing me. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, but I'm not gonna lose sleep if and that's been that's been scar tissue for all my life. But I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, you saw the video when they won the game 2 weeks ago.
Crying,
like sobbing.
I know.
Because they were so overjoyed. I was just like,
for them.
But I get it because after Michigan won the national championship, I'm walking around Energy Stadium and I ran into a very good friend of mine who I'm not going to put on blast on the podcast.
Yeah.
A grown man, a little bit older than me, and he was sobbing with just pure emotion and just pure energy. Like that's what type of passion the fans of the state of Michigan have.
Michigan's been. Michigan has been the bridesmaid. They come so close and they got it done. The Lions have not had that bridesmaid role, but now they've come in from the next county in here.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they're
sweeping in. And it's all good. Anyway, we've tons to talk about here.
Oh yeah.
On the Crawford podcast.
Our audience is getting bigger though.
Yeah.
The audience keeps improving.
Yeah.
So
anyway, hey, we'll be back. See, the next time we talk, we're talking. The loss to Michigan State on Tuesday night, most likely. I don't mean
let's talk Monday after a Michigan win tomorrow against Iowa. We'll talk about a Lions victory.
Okay.
Hopefully Sharon Moore will be announced as the head coach by then.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we can preview the state game because we'll know what they did against Wisconsin tonight.
Yeah, and the state game is on Tuesday night at Breslin.
Yep.
One more thing, is Sharon Moore ready?
He's ready. He is absolutely ready. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely ready for the in-game situation. It's the week leading up to the game where yes, he took over for the Penn State game, but Harbaugh was there leading the team all week, and that's my only question about him.
Okay,
that's my only question.
Look what to Jeremy out there in New York. Look at this situation. Ed Warner was the offensive line coach at Michigan, 2000. Pathetic, non-physical. No physicality, the offensive line. Mm-hmm. They hire Sharon Moore when, basically Harbaugh was mandated. You have to make coaching changes. Mm-hmm. And Sharon comes in there. Look at that offensive line. This is the most physical offensive line since the 70s, mm-hmm. and he recruited him. He was involved in He was involved in the J.J. McCarthy recruiting. Mm-hmm. Sharon Moore is a elite recruiter, an elite manager. Yep. Solid game manager, and he will get better because coaches get better, players get better, coaches get better. That's my thoughts.
It's a matter of what staff he puts in around him because Harbaugh he's going to take some guys with him. But there's going to be some attrition.
If you bring in a new coach, if you bring in like Brian Kelly, horror story. I mean, you're losing everybody. You start.
Then we're back to the Rich Rod thing where you're bringing in someone that doesn't understand the culture of Michigan, that doesn't understand how things are done. Rich Rod came in and literally threw away all the traditions, scrapped the weight room. Like, no, let's do it this way. Well, clearly that's not how Michigan does things. Mm-hmm. That's why Sharon Moore is the smart guy.
He is the guy.
It's just a matter of what he can put in around him to get him to a point. Who's going to be his Phil Martelli?
Yeah.
That's the question. Who's going to be the guy tapping on his shoulder like, okay, let's kind of do this and this.
Yeah. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Until next time. Down the block. CY, Chris Young, Tom Crawford. Stay safe.
Thanks, Tom.